But I've always underestimated how incredible my father was. His values, even the exchange with my mom, before they get married. His one of his dreams was to be a federal judge, and he eventually that was offered to him. And because his law firm would have had great difficulties, he said, "No, that would hurt my colleagues, so I'm not going to do that." And I had written him a note saying, "Gosh, I hope it's not because you had to pay all that tuition that you're not getting to do this." And I'd forgotten he'd written me back such a nice note. So, in digging through, I'm amazed we ended up keeping those things. It was so touching to me. No, I'll spend my whole life trying to live up to the example he set.
What was it like finding that reply, forgetting that he had replied? I mean,
well, certainly it brings tears to my eyes because, he was incredible. And towards the end of his life, we did get a little more direct, where he would say, "Hey, I'm sorry I worked so hard." And I'd say, no, that was fine to be doing that, and so instead of things being sort of through my mom, when she was gone, he had to build up that communication. In a way, it was far more intimate. I feel lucky that he lived as long as he did.
How does that, as that relationship evolves, like it felt like when I was reading Source Code, I felt like your father was there to always save you in these moments. Like he'd pick up the phone, he'd be involved in, talking to you and your friends. Like he was there in these very pivotal moments that felt like almost professional support from him, of course, based on his intelligence and background as well. But it sounds like that evolved to a much more emotive, intimate space. Like what does that look like for a father and a son across all those years?
And when I was going off to college,